Happy Father's Day, Dad. It's great to have everybody together and to be able to wish you a happy day. So we're each going to tell a story, and probably I have so many stories of you and me, but what, Brooke? What? Just one? Just one. So here's my favorite story, and I remember this really happening when we lived on Sycamore Street in Littleton. And when we first moved into that house, we put up a hoop on the driveway, and it was a pretty good driveway to shoot baskets on. But that tree, there was that big cedar-like tree that was on the left-hand side. That thing grew huge, and we kept having to whack it away because it kept getting in the middle of the court. And so I hated that tree. I would just trim that thing and trim that thing and trim that thing. I was the oldest one, so I can imagine what happened after I left. But anyway, you would come home from work, and I knew that you were dead tired. But as soon as you got out of the car, I was like, Dad, let's play one-on-one. Let's play one-on-one.
Dad.
We got to play. Yeah. We got to play one-on-one. And you would always come out and play. And inevitably, unless you let me win, and you were letting me win back then, unless you let me win, I was furious, and I would stomp, throw the ball down, and you would walk away and say, all right, that's it. And I would go, no, Dad, please, no, come back. And you would walk into the house. This is like every night. And you would walk into the house, and then I would come, Dad, no, I'll be good, trust me, I'll be good. And you would come out, and we would play some more. And it was just a memory that it's obviously binds us together even to this day, is to be able to do that. So that's my story for today, is playing one-on-one basketball at Sycamore Street, and you pushing me into the tree, by the way, when you got mad at me. That was the left-hand side, so you got to be able to drive to the left. So anyway, happy Father's Day. All right, Brooke.
Well, mine's not as long as that, but I was trying to think of my earliest memory of Dad. And I can remember, I don't know which house it is, but it's the house that had the pillars by the front door. Do you know which house that was, Lynn? It had the turning pillars, it's like a half wall with those wood pillars by the door. So it was either Riverside or Tustin, or maybe Buena Park. I don't remember what the inside of the houses looked like. But what I do remember is being in the front room with Dad, laying on the floor, and he would use my tummy as a pillow, and we would listen to his jazz music. And I can still see us there in that living room listening to his music. And I knew from, very early age that our daddy loved music. Now, as I was interviewing him this past week, I learned that that's how he got dates, is he got people that could play his records, so he could go to their house to play his jazz records, because
he had an angle.
So that's my story. Happy Father's Day.
Always got an angle.
All right, that's great. Next.
Okay, so that would be me. Hi, Daddy. Happy Father's Day. And I'm having a bunch of other memories flood into me right now after listening to these two, but I only get one story. And this is not my earliest memory. I know it's not my earliest because I think I'm like 10. I came across this picture of me and you at this daddy-daughter thing. At the church.
He doesn't have a beard.
No
He has hair.
Brown hair.
Is that his real hair?
Is that real hair?
No, it's not.
No, it can't be.
And I think this picture shows you being pretty happy. I look a little bit out of it, but I remember being so proud to be with you. And just so grateful to have time alone with you. And that's what I remember, is the times, even though you had all of us rugrats all over the place, the time that I had with you, you made me feel like I was special and I was the only one in that moment. And that was important to me. And that this daddy-daughter time encapsulates sort of that feeling that I had just spending time with you, was what was important to me. And I thank you for that. And I still feel that way, that you make me feel special whenever I'm with you. And I love you for that.
And I have to go after you crying?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'll tell a funnier story. Actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit because I'm going to tell a 1 1/10 story because the 10th one's really fast, but I'll start with the 1/10. My greatest memory is probably Dad watching my ball games and sitting up in the stand and yelling, "Point time!" every time. I can still hear it in my dreams sometimes. But, the other funny story is, probably none of you know this one, but it was more of a shocking story, but still makes me laugh. I'm down at New Mexico State and Dad comes down for a weekend. Told me he was on business or something like that. And it was just him. I don't think Mom was with him. And he takes me out to lunch and he whips out 5 $100 bills. And, you know, this is a time in Dad's marriage or their relationship where I don't think they were doing that great with money. I said, "Dad, where'd you get all that money?" And he says, "Well, I just came from Vegas." And he had won that week. So he spent his money coming to watch me after making some money in Vegas. So that was a lot of fun.
You won the lottery
I still get
too.
a kick out of that.
That's a good one. Never,
This might be the first time Mom hears about that story.
I'm sure she knew.
Elaine, did you feel special then, just like Robin?
He's gonna do what he's gonna do, yeah.
You had gambling, ill-gotten gambling gains. Did that make you feel special?
You encouraged him to gamble.
I didn't care. I was just glad my dad was there.
Oh, good. All right.
I have to say my earliest memory is sitting in church and being enamored with Dad's beard, like his shaven face, and going up on his face and smooth down, and up and smooth down, and like all through church. I don't know how he paid attention to anything. And then when I got tired of his face, I would do his arms and the hair on his arms. And I remember playing with the hair on his arms. How do you get that much hair on your arms? That's my earliest, but I gotta say the funniest ones, because I'm cheating too, I guess, is coming in when I was in high school and coming into the house, and I didn't know what I was gonna find him in his chair eating. He would either have a whole watermelon half that he was eating with a fork and coming up, or a whole popcorn bowl that he had a spoon that he was putting it into his mouth with. And like we were joking, the way Brett's sitting right now, he would be sitting in his chair and he'd have his hairpiece behind him. And when my friends would come in, you know, we weren't super quiet, so we'd come in loud. He would grab that and flop it on his head. And
Was he naked when he was eating? Because that was Karen's first experience with.
Oh yeah.
No, I think you know, I could tell other stories of my friends running up the stairs where the bathroom's at the top of the stairs where Mom would go to the bathroom and she wouldn't shut the door. So but that's Mother's Day stuff. That's not.
All I can say is that I was one of those girls who didn't have to wonder what men looked like because Dad was always naked.
My fondest memories of Dad going to ball games with him, and going to Nuggets games and getting hot tickets off of a scalper on the corner that he knew. And he got a guy. Dad always had a guy for something. And so that was his guy. And we went to several games because the Nuggets were horrible back then. And so we were able to go to games for cheap, and we'd get a ticket in the nosebleeds and walk down to the front and sit down in the front. And Dad became my best friend that way, you know, and just talking sports with him is the best thing for me. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But that's all I got.
And you were lucky, Brett. You got to have Dad to yourself for a lot of years.
I did.
You didn't have to.
I have a different relationship, and I have a longer relationship because, you know, I lived with them for much longer than you guys did. And so we built good history, bad history, a lot of history, but the relationship we have today is awesome. And the relationship I have with Mom today is awesome. I wouldn't trade either of it. I miss being in Idaho and being close to them. Being gone in Oregon has been really hard for me. But I miss them.
Yeah. So I have a question. How many of you have been to a game? Raise your hand if you have been to a game with Dad where he has bought cheap tickets and you've ended up going down to get better seats at the lower bowl.
I do remember the first time at a Nuggets game going down on the floor though, and seeing how big the players really were at floor level, and you know, watching, what was the guy's name? Skywalker, David Skywalker, or
David Thompson.
He was really big. Thompson, yeah. Anyway, that
was the game. You would sit there the first half, if it lasted that long, and he would sit there and he would go, see those two seats down there by the baseline? I don't think anybody's in there. We'll watch those a little bit longer. And then
sorry to interrupt. But I know this is the Pierce Kids thing, but I couldn't help but hear this. This is where Lance learned it from. Lance said the exact same thing. And I am always so embarrassed, but now I know.
Why not?
I don't know if the younger kids will have remembered this, but back in the day when they had two movies in a theater, you had a double feature. And so we were often or almost always late. And so we would go to the second half of the first movie and then have to wait for the second movie and then wait in the theater to watch the first half of the first movie. After these movies, one that I remember is we saw a movie called Honky Tonk Man, and we're sitting in there and Mom's going, Gordon, what is this rated? And Dad just took us to whatever movie he wanted to see.
I don't remember that, but I definitely remember trying to get to church on time, and Dad would inevitably, wherever we were going, whether it was church or anywhere else, I would have to go to the bathroom. Right. I mean, we were supposed to leave the house, and Dad goes to the bathroom, and then somehow would sneak out of the bathroom and go get in the car in the garage and start honking the horn. Where is everybody? Come on, let's go!
So I have to pick up on Derek's story. So when Karen came to visit me for the first time, this had to be Sycamore as well. So she comes to visit me for the first time, and she's heard all about our family and everything else. And she goes upstairs to go to the shower, and you guys can all picture this, right? In Dad's shower.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so she goes in the bedroom door, and he had that desk there, and the back of the chair was facing the door. So Karen's quietly going in there. She doesn't even know he's there. And then he spins around and says, hey, kiddo, he's naked and he's got a popcorn bowl covering all the key pieces. And Karen was mortified.
Oh, didn't she walk in the bathtub in Provo when you guys were getting married, or when you guys were getting married? I remember, and he was taking a bath, and he had soap all over him, and she's like, I have to come in. And he's like, okay, come in. I can't see anything. And she goes, but I can! I
can't see anything. What's the problem?
good. It's all good. No bubbles in the water. It's okay.
I love you.
Father's Day.
I love
Yes,
you,
Love you,
Dad.
Dad.
you. Thanks for all the time.
We went back to church today.
How'd that go? We're going back next week.
We're not going back till July because our stake doesn't want to split us up. They don't want to do every other week or split the ward in half. So we're waiting.
Did you go back, Derek? Hey, Derek, did you go back today?
No, we're not going back till July.
That's
Okay.
what we're doing.
So
And
I
they're
got,
going to split us up where each ward will go back 1 week because we've got four wards in our building.
yeah. So, yeah, we had to make that decision whether we were going to take a week, a ward would have a week, or every ward would have a portion that would go every week. And we chose the later. And so we split into a third. We surveyed our entire ward, figured out who wanted to come back and who didn't. And with whoever was left, we divided. We had to go into groups of 50. So we had 3 groups of 50, and today was the first group. And I will tell you 2 stories while we're waiting because they're pretty funny. So first of all, I don't know about your wards, but we have a problem with reverence before church, right? Every Mormon ward, it's pretty much a carnival before church. Well, you mask everybody, and it was really quiet. There was nobody talking. So the masks are the one way to keep Mormons or to help Mormons be reverent. That's the one way that we did. So that's one. Actually, I got 3 stories. So the rule is after if anybody goes to the podium and puts their arm on it, then you got to sanitize it.
Oh,
So-
gosh.
Think about it. So I'm conducting, so I go, and then we have an opening prayer, and then we had stake business, and then they come back to me, and then we have the sacrament, and then we have 2 speakers. So that's a lot. So we set up my counselor, who was the guy on the button. So he was the designated, as we called him, the designated wiper. So, hey, Brett, nice beer, dude. It's story time for a second, Brett. So anyway, after everybody sits down, as soon as one person sits down from the pulpit, then he has to stand up and wipe. It's very obvious, right? He has to stand up and wipe the podium off. So this goes for, I don't know, 2 or 3 people in. And then everybody's kind of watching this, kind of getting a chuckle out of it. He whispers into the mic, I asked for this calling. It just broke everybody up. It was hilarious. So that was one good story. And then the other story was, so everybody was worried about breaking up the sacrament, right? Putting the sacrament bread in such a way that not everybody had to touch it. That's the biggest problem.
Yep.
We decided we would get these big Chinette plates. And in our infinite wisdom, we decided that we would put the bread in the water cups so that they were.
I've heard other wards doing that, yeah.
All right, so there's a problem with this. So I'm sitting at the edge of the road, so I'm pretty close to the priest. I'm the only one that can see what's going on with the priest trying to break the bread, right? I'm like right there. We have this one priest. He's a football player. He's got massive hands. And he's trying to stuff these little pieces of bread. I'm writing this one up, by the way. This is going to be a story. He's trying to stuff. I mean, this guy's just got huge hands. He's trying to stuff these little pieces of bread into these. It's taking forever into these little cups. And I'm watching this, and I'm going, "There's no way. This is going to take forever." And then he finally gets it all on, they're all situated, and he knocks the plate. And oh my God.
We were talking today, we were talking about how to do the sacrament, and someone was suggesting that the bread would come in little cups. One of the high councilmen was like, what in the world are you going to be putting it in cups for? That is the stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life. I'll have to make sure and tell them about yours.
He's right. No, he's right, because putting the bread in the cups takes forever. It takes forever for these Plus,
Yeah,
it's free, right? It's
He was
16-year-old
worried
kids.
about
They're
the
not real
people
good at
being able
anything.
to get it out, though. He was worried that they wouldn't be able to get it out of the little tiny cup.
Oh,
not
no,
put it in.
Here's your other problem is so you give them the bread in the cup, they take the bread out and they drink and they eat it. Now they have the cup. What do you do? You can't put the cup.
We have some steaks that have another deacon come for
With
you
the
to put
second
your
tray.
used cup on. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we did with the water. Is they had two trays, the water tray, and then they would take the cup off and they would put it in the other tray. That worked good. Bread,
Right.
not so much.
Yeah.
Bread is still up in here. Yeah.
Brett, I swear, dude, if you had a fake hairdo on right now, I would think Dad is on the call.
Yeah.
She's logging on, but
Hold on. You gotta reach behind you on your chair and grab your toupee and put it on your head.
Yeah. My rug.
Just adjust it. Oh, I have this on because look at this mop. Oh, it's terrible.
great.
Oh, it's white. It's white. Derek's is gray. Mine is.
Eric,
Derek has a little pepper in his. I'm just
Mine's
straight.
white still.
I'm
Yeah.
straight salt, man. Straight salt.
mine.
Oh, at least you got hair.
Yours looks good, bro. I actually like yours.
You got lots of hair. Brett, you got Christian's dream. He doesn't want it on his head. He just wants it on his beard.
Does Christian have a beard?
No, Christian can't grow but one hair. He's got one right here, and he'll show it to you.
He was like spinning around. Oh, that's great. Wow, very good. All right, so who organized this party? I was the willing one that said I would video it.
It was Robin. Where is she? It's not just two.
I'm so impressed we got everybody on.
I know, this is pretty good.
We should, this should be a lesson to us. We should do this more often.
We should do it monthly. We should do it monthly. It would be fun. It would be
Oh,
fun.
that would be fun.
We've been doing.
Families are doing it with all of their 11 kids and family. They do it every Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I'm lucky to talk to my own kids every Sunday.
Exactly. That
And
will too.
COVID, they started doing that. I don't know that we need to do it every Sunday, but it would be great to do it every month. That would be fun.
Hey, we do a Sunday church with our kids. It's the only way we could get them together. We since COVID, we've done it every Sunday, which we never get them together. And we do a puppet show because we got all these little boys now. Karen does a puppet show every week, and it's like the highlight of the whole deal. That's all they care about. They don't care about church. They don't care about prayer. They don't care about songs. They want the puppet show.
Puppet show. You have to record that and save that one.
Oh, we can record them all. We got them all. Well, almost all. We started recording them a few weeks back. But the puppet show, they're just like, let's get done with the church part. Let's have the puppet show. I mean, the oldest one's 4, right? So.
Lance, put it on your YouTube channel so we can see how you do it.
That sounds like my family.
So Karen did the race puppet show today. I was stepping out there. We've had a lot of race discussions in our family lately, and so.
Oh yeah, with AG there, yeah.
Well, AG is the whitest black person you will ever meet. But for the first time, this has really struck a chord with him. It has really, really meant something to him for the first time, and his art is reflecting that, and different things that he's doing, and he's trying to do it in a very, very positive way. But he's trying to get out there, and he has a message that he wants to deliver, which is pretty cool. And Kristen has been all over it.
Right.
Was it Brian or Lance that posted something today on Facebook that was interviewing like Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington? Did you watch that? I think it might have been Brian that posted that. It was really good. They were
Knowing my husband, it was probably him.
It was probably
Here's the puppet shower.
We need to see a puppet show.
Yeah, they want a puppet show. They want the puppet show. They want the racial puppet show.
Hey, we want to see a puppet show.
We did coordinate. See, look at that. Her shirt, my hat. See, there you go. That's what we always try and do. We go for the coordination.
Family colors.
Oh, did we lose Robin again?
We lost Robin.
The one that's in charge, yeah.
Robin's like Kristen. Kristen, we can never get Kristen on the same time as everybody else. But today she was first because she had the. Did you see this video she did where they got all the kids the little kids together with the different colors?
Yes, I saw that.
So she played. There's a video that she's going to post of that whole experience. It was really, really well done. Very, very interesting. But I don't know. I have these kids that are very active, very, very active on this stuff, which is that's something
Good.
Bethany's been
I thought you were
posting
saying boys were active.
Yeah. No, you're back, Robin.
Yeah, and I'm no longer Cycle. I'm myself. So that's why I left, so that I could come log in as myself.
I'm
You can
Brent.
change the name.
Somehow, if I'm logged into my account, then I am Robin. If I'm not logged into my account, and I didn't have to enter a password either, so I don't know exactly what happened.
I didn't have to enter a password either.
Puppets! Puppet time!
Oh, gee.
Which puppet is this?
I'm sorry. My name's Claire, and Robin, are you the one that always gets lost? Because I get lost too. My mommy had to come and look at me because I get lost one day. You're cute down there. What's your name, Brett? I heard about you. You're cute.
Where's the other one? Did you bring the other one?
I just brought Claire. I'll get Andy.
Claire's the star of the show. Claire's in there Karen bought all these puppets.
Hi. Hi.
There you go.
You have a puppet.
Hey, hi, Loki.
Hey, Brett, you old man. Hey, Brett. Old man.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
Look, the
He's
kids are
got
here.
so much hair.
Oh.
Holy cow.
Hi, my name's Andy. I'm 7, and I'm. Hey, why are you touching my sister?
Whoa, that sounds good.
You gotta take care of your brother and sister.
Yeah.
That's like the bunny and the cotton balls, Derek.
Okay.
Hello. What's your name? My name's Claire, and I'm 5 years old. And I'm Andy, and I'm 7, and I'm Andy. Get out of the way. What's your name, little girl?
Look at all the kids. They're rolling in. Here comes, I'm telling you, puppet shows and kids.
What's your name?
There's lots of people.
Are you Brooklyn? Oh, I know you guys. You're so cute.
Want to make sure you do that for about 10 minutes before you start making your.
Today my friend Omar, who lives down the road,
Yeah.
he was being bullied by these guys because Omar comes from a different country and he wears different clothes and he has brown skin. And the guys were bullying him.
Homer's a monkey, but we didn't tell him that. We figured that would cause problems.
I know, my brother Andy,
That's too
you're such
close.
a friend, right, Andy? You're such a good friend, right? Well, I try to be a good friend. But we always talk about the gospel on Sundays.
All right, so there you go. You got your little treat.
The Adventures of Claire and Andy.
Nice.
Oh, we lost Robin.
Yeah,
All right.
she walked out of the room this time. Oh, she's getting
Lucky. There we go. GD, GD1. No, GS1, GD1.
All things.
Oh,
Oh, my goodness.
Look at you, cutie.
Oh,
Hi.
my goodness.
Elaine, you have 2 of these now, right?
Yes, I've been taking care of Dexter the last couple days. Slept with their hat for a couple days.
You got to hold that one before a little earlier than the first one, right?
I what?
You got to hold that one a little earlier than the first one.
No, because the first one was born in the hospital and we got to see it in the hospital. We had to wait 2 days because they don't let anybody in the hospital now. But I got to be in the house and do the whole routine with this one because Madison's mom's in a wheelchair and can't get up to their place. And so
Yeah.
I got to be the mom of a daughter. So
Sesame seeds to the top.
my only opportunity probably.
Have sesame seeds.
So Brett, what's going on in Oregon?
Oh,
And then I'm gonna give
just
Japanese twist
watching all these protesters and all this stuff that's going on and
So I
trying to work and keep a normal
work
life while
Yeah, when Singapore
the world's
was
falling
interesting,
apart around us.
I grew up
And
eating
that's
breakfast. This was something
So you live in liberal Oregon. What do you think? How's it? What is the temperature up there in Portland?
Portland loves a protest. They are all about their protesting, so there's lots of people there. It has been, for the most part, pretty calm. They've had a couple of nights that they lit stuff on fire and like broke things, but they're not taking over 6 city blocks like Seattle is. But I think that this is all crazy, and I think there's a bunch of kids fighting a fight that they don't even know they're fighting, because it's not even the Black Lives Matter causes anymore. It's not that anymore. It's a political agenda, and it's gotten hijacked by these people who are using the protesters as a vehicle to get their memes done, and I think it's horrible.
Yeah, it's really, really quite complicated with a lot of variables. That's for sure.
There it is. And I think all these kids think they're protesting for good, and they are not keeping their eyes wide open. They're seeing it through their own rose-colored glasses that they want to see it through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to politics.
Oh,
So check out Brian's, yeah, it was Brian that posted it today. It was pretty good. Talking to all of these black men that are famous, black men, about what they think about the rioting and the
Oh, really?
it was good. It was,
Yeah, our family generally loves Brian's posts.
Yeah, sure. That's why I'm like, if Brooke's telling me it was good, then maybe that's
our family.
With Brian, though.
I was gonna
Right.
say, we can't discuss politics at our house, so.
Well, I try to get him not to discuss it, but it's a battle keeping him from posting stuff. Yes.
Well, we grew up in a family that didn't talk about politics. And in our family, Karen and I's family, we really didn't talk about politics, but we talk about politics an awful lot now because, hey, we got Steve that's in the business.
Yeah.
And our kids, for whatever reason, they all got pretty strong. Well, most of our kids have pretty strong opinions on this, and they're going to put themselves out there, which I think is okay. I do. I think it's okay. I don't necessarily agree with everybody, but that's not my job to agree with them. But I do want them to be passionate about whatever it is they believe.
My kids have been getting more involved as well, especially Bethany. She used to just live in her bubble, but she's exploring more and trying to learn more and be more educated of what's going on.